Hello, my darlings. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I figured we'd talk about the things you should do energetically and spiritually to make sure that you're set up for the new year. So things you should do at the very beginning of 2023 to make sure you have a successful and productive year. But before we get started, if you're new here, please subscribe down below for more videos like this one. I talk a lot about spirituality, consciousness, and all of the above. So yeah, and if you have been following me for some time, welcome back. Alrighty. Okay, so out with the old, in with the new. Let's get the new year going the right way. Some of the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video are simply reminders. They're not meant to be earth-shattering insights. And yet I find that sometimes all it takes is a reminder so that we connect the dots, so that we remember something that we intended to do in the first place. So the first things first, I find that when people cross over to from one year into the next, what ends up happening energetically, there are some cords that get automatically severed. And then there are other energetic cords that connect you to the old year, to the past year, that remain intact. Now, this is largely a subconscious process. And also the reason some of the cords get removed in the first place is because that's how the universe operates. The universe is archiving some of the old things. And thankfully, we don't have to carry on and carry over some of the old bygone things into the future. Now, unfortunately, not every single energy cord gets removed this way. So the first thing that I recommend that you guys do is a cutting of the cords exercise, specifically around all the things from 2022 that no longer serve you. All it takes is literally 3 minutes of your time. What you would need to do is close your eyes. Imagine that you're standing on the threshold. Behind you is year 2022. In front of you is year 2023. You would notice that there are multiple golden cords stretching kind of like through this doorway from last year into this current year. And you would notice that, you may or may not notice, some of them are going to be more benevolent than others. So what you would need to do is you would want to ask the universe to only show you the cords that are no longer serving you. When that intention has been received by the universe, you will see that the number of the cords that in front of you is dwindling. So there are fewer to go about. And so essentially for the cutting, you would either need a sword of light or the scissors of light. You would just imagine that you have a light sword, a large light sword, or scissors made of light, kind of really, really cute. And so you would take and you would cut the cords that connect you to that which no longer belongs, that which no longer serves you from 2022. And then the moment that the cords get cut, you would feel and you would see, actually, if you have your third eye very active, you would see those cords kind of like withdrawing back into the past. And, there's this clear road. So what you're looking for is this clear path ahead. So that's really important. Second is decluttering your bodies, your mental body and your emotional body specifically is really, really important as we transition from 22 to 23. How come and why so? Last year was an emotionally draining year. Because of that, your emotional body carries within itself a lot of toxicity, a lot of the toxic waters of past year, whether you want this or not. The last year was, again, a karmic year. So it is in your best self-interest to cleanse as much of that old stuck energy as possible. So here's what I like to do for my emotional body. Your emotional body is essentially a sphere of light that surrounds your physical body. Or shall I say it's one of the spheres of light. I like to imagine that my emotional body has a zipper straight in the front. And that is how I declutter all of my bodies really quick and simple. So you would imagine like just pulling the zipper down, and then that creates an opening in your emotional body so that you can get out of it as if it was like a piece of clothing. And you just essentially discard that old emotional body of yours behind you. Just let it drop. And then you would notice that lo and behold, you still have an emotional body, but this one is clean and pristine. And that is exactly what you want to do. Now, mental body is another body that's really, really critical to do this cleaning for, because this year is going to be the year of the intellect. This year is going to be the year of the divine masculine. As such, your mental body is going to become incredibly overactive. And there are some really benevolent energies coming through that your mental body would be able to absorb if it were in a state that matches those high frequency vibrations. For that to happen, you need to, again, get rid of all the old stuck energies. Again, you would imagine that there is a mental body. By the way, your mental body has this, it's a sphere of light, but it has this silver bluish tint to it. And so you would imagine this, there is a silver bluish tint, a tinted sphere around your body, and it has a zipper right in the front. So again, you pull the zipper down, you create an opening, and then your old mental body falls away like an old snake skin. That is really what needs to happen for you to declutter. By the way, if you want to take it a layer further, you can do the same thing with your physical body. Only, of course, your physical body is in the shape of your actual body. And so when you're going to be unzipping it, you're going to be literally removing something that looks like a second set of skin. A little bit like gruesome, a little bit morbid, but trust me, you guys, it really, really works, especially if you've been holding on to a lot of stress. Stress we hold on in all of our bodies, unfortunately. There's been a lot of that from last year. So you may want to declutter your physical as well as your energy body, that as well. All right, so that is out with old. There's so many other things. Like there's so many other meditations and practices I could give you around clearing away old stuck energies. You can do one of the simplest practices, which is the energy waterfall. Just imagine you're standing under the waterfall of golden light and allow it to wash away all of the negativity, all of the energies that you want to leave back in 2022 that you no longer want to deal with. There's one other thing that I wanted to say and point out around cord cutting. As we go through life, we create a lot of intentions. One of the topics that I write about is manifestation. Some of you may know because my book is out, 72 Keys to Manifestation or an Ancient Path to a Modern Day Alchemist. By the way, it's now available on Audible for those of you Audible lovers. One thing that is really, really important for manifestation is energy. And every single intention that we have throughout the duration of our lives takes or creates like a pull, like an energetic pull between us, the wisher, and the intention itself. So we become connected. One thing that is really, really important to note about this is an energy intensive process, meaning the more wishes, desires, dreams, intentions you as a human being create, the more taxing it is on your energy resource. We all have a finite energy resource that we came here from our higher self, from birth to death. We have a very finite amount of energy. Now, there is a way to replenish that energy, etc. And that's what I talk about in my book. But one of the things that worries me the most is humanity spends a lot of energy on intentions that are no longer valid. And that is another thing that we specifically want to cut cords with back from 2022. So whatever intentions you created in 2022 that you no longer want for some reason, they are kind of like an order that you place at a restaurant but still haven't received the meal. It doesn't mean that the meal is not coming. But if you no longer want that set of French fries that you ordered, so to say, but the universe is still going to leverage your own personal resource to bring you that order of French fries, isn't that the definition of insanity? So one of the things that you want to cut cords with is all of your intentions, wishes, dreams, desires, passions, everything that you have created and you set an intention to get in 2022, but you didn't get. And by the way, right now, you don't care for those things. That is clutter. And this type of clutter has no room in your future life because you're going to need all of your resource to get going places and to manifest things that you want to manifest. So one of the other things specifically that I want to call out, and again, this is based on the information that's just coming through the collective of the group that's watching this. Imagine there is these cords of light of your wishes and dreams. They're silver, actually. And the ones that you no longer want, right? Just feel free to cut them. Cut them, let them loose, like wild horses, let them roam. Somebody else is going to want those wishes. It's nothing to do with you. Okay, in within you. That's the most important part, right? Setting the intention. Okay, two things that I wanted to say here. There's a lot around allowing yourself to receive. There is a lot of that content, specifically as it relates to manifestation. I talk a lot about claiming your territory. It's really, really important, and I love this practice for the beginning of the year. Now, enough of you have already, set New Year's resolutions. Enough of you are only going to start doing goal setting for the year to come. I love doing my yearly goals. I love tracking them on a monthly basis. I love doing a recap at the year end. I think I take it to the whole entirely next level. I don't recommend that as a practice for you guys. However, if you do end up setting an intention, if you do have big goals for yourself, for your life for next year, do yourself a favor and do a quick exercise that I call the claiming of the territory. How do you claim the territory? You would close your eyes and you would notice that there is actually like an area of your life, shall we say, that is yours. So like when you close your eyes and try to imagine your personal space, it's going to feel like it's like a fenced in territory around you. Very often our goals, dreams, and aspirations lie beyond that territory. That is why we have to do something in order to align with those things. They are outside of our immediate scope of influence or our immediate resources, etc. So the claiming of the territory is, first, you want to when you set a goal for yourself, you want to understand where exactly it falls in the universe, right? And your goals usually, energetically, they would show up as like flags. It's almost like you put a stake in the ground somewhere, like, in front of you, usually because the future is in the front, usually the past is in the back. And those little flags are kind of like waving hello at you. And they're like, hey, I'm your goal. And you're like, yes, you are. I remember I set you. So one thing that is really, really important is for you to expand your comfort level to encompass that goal. So if you close your eyes again and imagine your comfort level as like this, zone beyond the fence, or not beyond, within the fence, then you need to push out the fence of your comfort level so that that fence stretches to encompass your goal. And that way you're kind of like hugging, you're kind of like enveloping that goal. Otherwise, it's outside of your reach and outside of your zone. Another thing that helps with claiming the territory is this. You would mentally transport yourself next to the flag that denotes your goal. And then each of us actually is a little bit of a magician. I don't know. Every soul that I've ever encountered is like a little wizard. And we each actually have a staff of light, kind of like the Gandalf staff, like a little, I guess call it the magic wand, if you will. And so your soul has a magic wand in a shape of a staff of light. And I find that claiming your territory with that like nifty little device is really, really helpful. So what you would want to do is you would want to grab that staff with both of your hands. And as you have approached that goal of yours that you really, really want, you would, take the staff and crash it into the ground with the might, like essentially with all your might. And then you would claim that territory as your own. And you would essentially say something along the lines of, now this goal is mine. Or like, I claim it as mine, or this is mine, or this is for me. And I find that placing the staff right where the goal is 3 times is what you need to essentially energetically claim the goal. Now, this may sound woo-woo. I mean, depending on how deep you go with me, I go way more woo-woo than this, but you guys, this works. I wouldn't be telling you if it didn't. It works so well on everything from projects to businesses to what have you. Like you would be surprised what's possible once you expand your comfort level. Just to give you one quick example from my life, perhaps, I don't know how far we want to go into this, but I run a business, and at one point in the past, the business reached like a plateau, like a ceiling around revenue. And I couldn't understand why. I just couldn't break through the revenue threshold. And I was like, what are you going to do? And then I realized that my goals, the goals that I was setting for myself, was so outside of my comfort zone. And what ended up happening is my body was actively repelling and rejecting growth, revenue growth for the business. And so the moment I actually let go of those, it's like a glass ceiling, really. Like we don't realize it because it's so subconscious, but there are fears around going big. Sometimes there are fears around going after what we want. And we have to break these glass ceilings all the time. Like our entire journey is like breaking a series of glass ceilings. There are all these subconscious barriers that, we got from our ancestors, we got from the collective consciousness, we got from our past lives, yada, yada, yada. And so the moment I did the claiming of the territory and I expanded my fence to include a much bigger revenue number, like my business just started growing again, like literally within 2 weeks. I could not believe my eyes. So when I'm telling you like these things, I tried them. They work. Highly recommend. Last but not least, I find that as our lower selves, right? I'm certainly representing my lower self today. We tend to run around in circles sometimes because we set all these goals for ourselves that don't always move the needle. Or we think we want something, but then we really don't. Or once we get what we want, it doesn't really make us happy. So we do like this little human thing. And I find that if I were to give you like a practice to help you live the most happy, successful, blissful 2023, I would tell you this. Go and check in with your higher self and ask your higher self, hey, if I were to do 3 things this year, what would these 3 things be? If I were to accomplish just 3 things in the entire year, what would you have me do? And see what comes through. How do you do that? That's the question that I'm getting from the collective right now. Do you guys know the elevator? I always talk about the elevator. Imagine there is an elevator right in front of you, an elevator of light. You step into it, you go all the way up. Like you press the penthouse button, you go all the way up. I'm kidding about the penthouse button, but you guys, we have to have fun with spiritual content, right? Otherwise it's so goddamn boring. So you press the penthouse button and you go all the way up. And then the doors open and you walk into the space that is filled with light. And there's your higher self over there. By the way, this is like one of 10 billion ways that you could connect with your higher self. And then that's the place where you can come to talk to your higher self. And then you can ask your higher self from this particular place, right up the elevator. You would ask it, hey, what are the 3 things you want me to do next year? If you have clairaudience, then it's no problem. You're going to hear exactly what your higher self wants for you to hear. Some of you may not have those abilities open just yet. Those abilities may still be dormant within you. You may be able to see some symbols though. And so your higher self is going to want to communicate to you. And the simplest way that I'm being shown right now is there are going to be 3 things, like 3 parcels, almost like 3 tables for you set out. And like you can come to the table and there's going to be a symbol for what your higher self wants you to do. It could be like, I don't know, like a ring, sign to get married, or like a little baby, hey, get pregnant, or something else, right? Go start a business. Like, watch for visual cues. So your higher self is going to communicate what it wants for you with visual cues. And then, whatever comes through, just build your life around it. I'm not saying, and hey, like, life comes down to the matter of perspective. There is bliss in being able to have multiple perspectives. There is bliss in being able to get a perspective of your higher self, and then look at what your higher self wants you to do, and then make a decision on whether you're game or not. And it doesn't mean that you, of course, don't get to call the shots, because you do. And you are the one with free will at this point, right? You can take what your higher self wants you to do and do it, or you can say, never mind. Now, I will tell you that I've found that my higher self tends to know better than I do. And I usually save myself a lot of blood, sweat, and tears when I do it her way. So just saying, but of course, this is a free will universe, so you guys get to do whatever you want. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know down in the comments if you have already done the cord cutting exercise before, perhaps on a past relationships, and what your experience was. I know cord cutting is extremely, extremely popular in spiritual circles as like a means of getting rid of the energy from your ex. One thing I will tell you is with cord cutting, last thing, and then we're gonna wrap this up. When you cut the cord with another person, make sure to collect your energy from them, right? So get the energy that you gave them. Give them back the energy they gave you. Take back the energy that you took from them. That is just relationship hygiene, energetic hygiene. You don't want, if you're cutting the cords, you're going to have to give it all back. You cannot hold on to some of the stuff. Otherwise, it's just not all that fair. Yeah. So let me know if you try any of these practices. I'm also curious how you guys are feeling in 2023. I hope you're loving it. I'll see you in the next one.